Hey guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Liz and I am a 22-year-old who likes to cash stuff. This video today is going to be how to budget for beginners, and I mean beginners. So if that interests you, then keep on watching.
What a wonderful
So if you don't know who I am or if you've never seen a video of mine before, like I said, my name is Liz. I have 3 jobs currently, and I cash budget, and it has saved my butt a couple of times. So the whole reason I got into cash budgeting to begin with is all throughout college and high school, I had a debit card, and anytime that I got paid, which was usually through direct deposit or check, I would spend. And if I wanted something, I bought it. And I didn't really take into account the bills that I had to pay and the subscriptions and things like that that were going to be on auto draft, stuff like that. And one day I found myself having to pay a bill with only $3 in my bank account and maybe $4 in my savings. And I just remember breaking down and bawling my eyes out on the phone with my mom, asking her to help me. And if any of you guys know, once you grow up a little bit and you kind of start things on your own, you hate asking other people for money or hate asking people for help. And that's where I was. I hated asking her for help. She didn't mind helping me, obviously, she's my mom, but I hated asking her for help. And she knew that. And so she actually went out and did some research and found this cash budgeting system and told me about it, told me there was a ton of YouTube videos out there, go watch them. So that's exactly what I did. I watched all types of budgeting videos from all different types of people. And I really felt like this was a system that could work for me and that I could kind of get a hold and control over my financial life. And that was really important to me. And so whenever I got my next paycheck, the first thing I did was go on Amazon and I bought my first cash binder. So the first binder that I bought myself was this one right here. It's a nice blue color and it has a magnetic clasp. This one came with the zipper envelopes that look like this, and it has the zipper at the top and the holes at the bottom for you to slide them in. It's really great for the money just not falling out of your binders, and that's what they came with. Now, whenever I watched all of these YouTube videos, a lot of people had their own Etsy stores and they would put vinyl and things like that on their envelopes. And I thought it was so pretty and so cool. The problem was I didn't have a vinyl maker. So I was in this weird predicament of, well, how do I make my envelopes look cute, but also not have to just use a Post-it note or not also have to go and spend a ton of money on a vinyl maker or vinyl cutter. But also I'm not continuously putting more money into this when I'm trying to save my money by buying a bunch of stuff from Etsy. Now, do I suggest going out there and looking on Etsy and supporting small businesses? Absolutely. If you are able to support small businesses, do it. However, like I said, I had $3 on my bank account when I first started all of this. So I didn't really have the money to put a whole bunch of money into Etsy and support their small businesses at the time. So what I did was, and I'll take this out and show you guys, I used an index card and I cut it at the bottom, or I didn't have scissors at the time, so I kind of just ripped them at the bottom. And I created my own dashboards with markers and pens. And I was able to creatively and uniquely make them my own. And if I hated it, I could start over and create a new one. And I thought that that was super cool. And yeah, so that's how I started with my dashboards, was an index card and some markers and pens. So if you guys see a lot of these people on YouTube with vinyl and laminated envelopes and things like that, you can get there. You can go on Etsy and buy some, or you can do like what I did and start from scratch and kind of go the cheaper way. Now, for those of you that don't know what I mean by a laminated envelope or things like that, I actually made some because I recently bought in a laminator. So these are the two that I made myself, but these are what I mean by laminated envelopes. So it's just laminating sheets and they open at the top. There's no zipper or anything like that, but these are really great because they're a lot thinner and you don't have that big bulky zipper closure that can kind of prevent you from keeping a lot of money in at a time. But I created these myself, and so far I really like them. I haven't made a ton of them. I'm not the best at making them. Still very new to it, but these are what I would consider the laminated envelopes. Now, a lot of people throw out different terms like A5, A6, and A7. And when I first began, I was like, what the heck does that even mean, A5, A6, A7? Well, an A7 is this little bad boy here. It's a small wallet, okay? This one is a Moterm that I got for Christmas, and I did not start out with this. I started out with the big binder, which is this one right here. And this one is considered an A6. So a lot of the times it kind of just depends on size, or it is based around size. Sometimes it's based around the amount of prongs, or I guess the little metal rings in there. Some of them have 7. This one only has 6 in it. But that's kind of why they're called A6, A7, A5, is because of the amount of metal rings that you have. So this is an A7. You do have to actually fold your money to put them in. So I just fold mine in half and put them in like that. This one, you don't have to do that. You can actually keep them fully out, like some people like that. I don't really care. But yeah, I found this one to be a little bit too bulky for my purse, which is why I moved on to the smaller wallet. But I also got this on Amazon, and this also came with envelopes. So this is the envelope that it came with, or pack of envelopes that it came with. So it has the, holes at the bottom, and it has a tab for you to label at the top, but it folds like an actual envelope. So even if you are like starting at basic scratch, you can actually use those paper envelopes and put them, in some sort of holder if you like as well. And that is another way to do it if you are really starting from scratch. Thankfully, this wallet came with the envelopes with the tabs and everything like that when I got it on Amazon. And the great thing about Amazon when you're starting out is there's a ton of different options out there, a ton of different sizes, a ton of different styles, and most of the time they will come with everything that you need. So like I said, this is the one that I started out with the magnetic closure. However, there's another option you can go with that I use for my long-term binder, which is a snap closure. So this actually has the snaps, and it snaps together to hold it together instead of just a magnet. I really like this one for my long-term binder just because it is way more flexible, so I'm able to keep a lot more money in here, whereas this one, it doesn't really have much give, so whenever it gets full, it doesn't really close very well. Which again, that's a lot of things based on preference. The last thing is an actual A5 binder, which is this big bad boy here. Now, many people are like, what in the world do you need an A5 binder for? Well, this is really great if you have an overall theme that has a lot of different categories within that one big theme. For example, holidays. I have one specifically just for Christmas, just because it's gonna hold a lot more money, but Halloween never fails. Every single year I end up spending way more money than I expected to spend, and so on and so forth with costuming, thing like that. So Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Mardi Gras, things like that. You can all label under holidays and then just put little dividers in between each one and label them that way to keep it all in one place. But you're also not having to have a different envelope for each one. One of the ones I'm gonna use this for holidays, but I'm also going to use this for Ringo's vet bills. So I'm going to have, it's gonna be called Ringo's Vet, and then my categories are going to be emergency, shots, and ESA. So for the emergency, for all intents and purposes, it's for an emergency. He is still a puppy, so he likes to get into a lot of things, and if any of you guys know, vet bills are expensive, and especially when it comes to something that you were not expecting to happen. I don't necessarily want to just dig into my savings for that, so I want to have an emergency fund specifically for him. Also, his yearly shots, not the cheapest thing in the world, so that way you're able to save for that as well. And then again, for his ESA certificate, you have to renew that every year. It's around $300, and that is a big expense to just come out all at once, out of nowhere. So knowing all of that, that is one of the reasons you can have an A5 binder, is if you have an overall theme with a lot of little categories within it. Hey guys, so I wanted to add a little bit in here about my trackers and how I do those. So these are just an index card. As you can see here, I have my date on one side, a plus or minus, and then how much is in the fund. So this is my savings, so obviously you're seeing all plus signs, but if it was a minus sign, sometimes I will put what I spent that money on underneath it, so I know. You can have some trackers that will have a category section, but to me, it's not really, it's kind of pointless to me, but it is really great for those that want to track exactly what money they're spending and what they're spending it on. So if you say you have like a tracker for your wallet, you want to know how much money exactly you're spending on food each week or eating out and things like that, that could work. But for my sinking funds, especially, I don't really need a category. So again, I just put the date here, the plus or minus, and then the total, and then this index card is not lined, so you're able to use both sides as well. So there are also a lot of different ways to actually budget. Whenever I first started, it was very overwhelming for me because nobody really had the same system that I needed. Whenever I was bartending, or I still am bartending, but whenever it was really big for me and that was my main source of income, I didn't really get to pick the denominations before I got my money. Obviously, like, I usually get paid in ones when I'm bartending, and then you kind of switch it out at the end of the night. But you don't really get to just determine if you want this many amount of 5s and this many amount of 10s and everything like that, because you also don't know how much you're going to make for the whole entire week. So I started by doing a tally method with my money. So if I say I had 5 1s, 6 5s, 7 10s, and 9 20s, I would write that down. And then whenever I would go through and budget, I would put a tally whenever I used that specific bill for that specific envelope. And once I got to the number of bills that I had, I would cross it out, and that's how I knew that I was done with that.
Hey guys, so I wanted to actually show you what I meant by my tally method. This is just a larger version of what I normally do. So for example, if my budget is $155 and for eating out I want to budget $30, down here you can see that I have 5 $10 bills. So we'll count that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I want 3 $10 bills. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I just put that to the side. And then I tally 1, 2, 3, and I now know that I have 2 $10 bills left that I can use whenever I am budgeting out everything, if that makes any sense.
Definitely a basic and a little confusing at first budgeting system, but it worked for me for what I needed it for. You can find a lot of different budgeting sheets out there on Etsy. I know the Crafty Budgeter has a couple of them. I'll link her YouTube as well as her Etsy store down below, because she does allow you to do printables. A lot of people also have PDF files that you can use. Intentional Living actually came out with an entire budgeting planner if you have an iPad. Again, I'll link her YouTube and her Etsy down below. Love her. She is a huge inspiration for a lot of the things that I've done with my system, because she is so smart with it. So I'll make sure I link all of her stuff down below. But yeah, you don't have to have a budgeting sheet, and you don't have to have a super fancy iPad to budget. I started out with this, a notebook, and I still use this. I still use a notebook. And the great thing about this is you can find these anywhere, and it's cheap, and you can kind of create it to how you need it to and use it how you need it to and things like that. Again, this is for beginners. Not every beginner out there has an iPad or the money to go on Etsy and buy all of these different budgeting sheets to see which one works for them. So a good old-fashioned notebook can work for you as well, because it's working for me and it works for me and continues to work for me as well. So that's something else. The other thing that I really, 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 really want to stress to you is don't be afraid to spend your money. A lot of us in the budgeting world, our entire goal is to save. That's the main goal. However, the whole point of cash envelopes and revolving funds is to spend the money for things that you want. It can be very, not claustrophobic, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but it can be very, almost like you're stuck in a box if you put yourself there, of only saving and never spending. So the whole point, like I said, for like my beauty fund, for example, I don't have to feel guilty about using that money for makeup, because I've specifically put aside that money for makeup or clothes or, you know, self-care, a haircut, or getting your nails done, anything like that, which whenever, you know, I didn't have the money for, but I needed to get it done, I felt guilty using that money. And now I don't have that guilt, which is super nice. So don't be afraid to spend the money that you saved for the things that you saved for. It's okay. You don't have to save every single penny, but you do need to be disciplined. So when it comes to being disciplined, it's also really fun to watch your money grow. So for things that you are saving for long term, like a savings account or a new car or your retirement fund, watch your money grow, and it is so, so, so exciting to watch that happen. I know when I first started, I had, like I said, $4 in my savings account, and now I almost have $1,000 saved just for savings, which is so crazy to me, because I've never had that much money at one time, except for once whenever we got the stimulus check. But again, I was swiping and swiping away instead of saving all of that money, which I could have done, but I didn't know about the system at that time. So the cool thing about it is you're able to watch your money grow, and it's exciting, it's fun, and it really does make you feel accomplished at the end of the day, that you've done something good for yourself and for your finances. Alrighty guys, I really hope that this video has helped. If you have any questions, or this might be a little overwhelming with all of the information, don't be afraid to comment down below. Ask any questions that you have, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. I am not an expert, but I have learned a lot of different tips and tricks along the way to kind of help myself out and not get so stressed about having everything to, you know, look perfect and be perfect and everything like that. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment. Also, if you like this video, please give it a big, big, big thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. We are so, so close to 100 subscribers, which is mind-blowing, because before my last video I had about 50 something subscribers, and now we're close to 100, which is insane, by the way. Thank you guys so much. Was not expecting you guys to enjoy that video so much last week, but that's why I wanted to do this video, is because I have a lot of new subscribers, and you know, we all have to start from somewhere. So if you want to see more like this from me, don't forget to subscribe. I will try and make more videos that are not just around cash stuffing, similar to this, or even just week in the life vlog type style. So if that interests you, again, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
What a wonderful world.